Financial freedom seekers.
The Financial Freedom Challenge.
Did you get it through financial freedom?
You become financially free.
Become financially free.
Financial longevity.
Financial freedom.
The term financial freedom has been thrown around so much the last few years that by now you'd have thought that we'd be retired and sitting on a beach in the Bahamas by now. Yet whilst this topic has grown in popularity the last few years, it's reported that most UK adults have at least £2,000 worth of credit card debt. They potentially have a student loan, they only have one stream of income, and they are finding it increasingly hard to save money each month. Many people in these circumstances actually refer to a feeling of being stuck. So how can we create financial freedom, and what does it actually even mean? Financial freedom means having enough savings, financial investments, income and cash on hand to be able to afford the kind of life that we desire for ourselves and our families. So for those of you that want to get started today on your journey to financial freedom, what steps can you take? Well, before I go through my step-by-step process of which I've laid out for you, I want to share with you a favourite quote of mine, which is, "What got us here won't get us there." And that quote basically means that in order to get somewhere new, we need to change who we are, and we need to embrace the change in order to take that step forward. Whether that comes down to changing habits, routine, exercise, spending, the people that we hang around with, so our friends, or maybe even changing the media that we consume. Whatever it is, we need to make a change in our life for the positive in order to get ourselves to the next step in life. So step one of the different steps I'm going to walk you through is build an emergency fund. Now, we need an emergency fund in case of any unexpected bills that are going to come up, and inevitably they always do come up. So the first goal is to set aside between £1,000 and £5,000 as an emergency fund. This isn't for holidays, this isn't for dinners or spa breaks, this is purely for unexpected bills that might come up with your car, maybe come up with your heating, your house, so you can cover them without any worries. By having an emergency fund, this alone will help you to start relieve that stress, becoming more free because you are starting to take control of your life. Step number two is paying down any credit cards or any debt. Now, regardless of how you racked up that debt in the first place, the focus has got to be on paying down the debt so that in the future we can focus on how can you save more money. Step three, reduce your outgoings. Think about selling any cars, watches, any shoes, or maybe even sunglasses that have high monthly payments. You maybe even consider downsizing in property if it means that you have a lower mortgage cost, or at very least, refinance and reinvest that money. By saving that money, you'll be amazed at the amount that you could build up over time if you invest that into property, stocks, or some kind of fund. Just like when you go to lose weight, you need to burn more calories than you eat. With finance, you need to earn and save more money than you spend. Now, up until now, we've been looking at how can you reduce your expenditure. Now we're going to talk about building up those savings. So step number four is saving 20% of your income each month, or at least have that as your goal. Now, if you save 20% and you straight away put that into a separate account, not only does this build a healthy relationship between active money and saved money, but also you're building consistency, that each month you know that you have to save 20% of your earnings. Now, regardless of what you invest this towards, whether it's buy-to-let, funds or stocks, you know that you're putting that money aside. And over time, as you earn more money, as you reduce those expenses, you're still continuing to build and save that 20% of your overall income. Now, you might say at this point, Justin, I can't save 20% of my income. And in which case, you need to revisit points 1, 2, 3, and then get back to this point before we move on. Step number 5 is upgrade your income. Now, whether that is through business creation, whether it's through a promotion and a salary increase, no matter how you do it, your ability to increase your wages whilst decreasing your expenditure will allow you to build wealth and potentially financial freedom. And as we've covered throughout this video, you need to change as a person and embrace change to push yourself forward. We also need to look at reducing expenses, increasing outcome, and doing that consistently. All of those things combined, and I believe you can get yourself well on the way to financial freedom. Last but not least, stick to the goal. Try to avoid shiny penny syndrome and getting distracted. In fact, what you should do is try to build slowly, methodically, and consistently. Try to build up those savings over time, try to consistently save them, and try to avoid spending money on any luxury cars, luxury items that detract you from your overall goal. So we've covered the 6 steps, but there is one thing that I wanted to add, and that is, no matter what financial freedom looks like to you, I believe the best way of getting there is to reverse engineer that goal. So what does financial freedom look like to you? How much money is that? What investments is that? And what are you doing for happiness in your life? And then work your way back from there. Now remember, financial freedom doesn't happen in a matter of hours or days or weeks. In fact, it often takes many months, many years, or sometimes even decades. So just remember what we've learned in this video, and that is, in order to get somewhere new, we're gonna have to embrace change as a person. And in order to save money, we're gonna have to reduce expenses, increase our income, and consistently save over time. And eventually we will all get there. So as always, I appreciate you watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.